George Bush. Georgie Porgy Bush. Georgie Porgy Puddin' and Pie. Dallas Morning News. Ugh, God. President Bush's portraits of immigrants reflect a lifelong kindness to strangers. What? 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 I can't. Help me. I cannot. How could anybody write this with a straight face? How? President Bush's portraits of immigrants reflect a lifelong kindness to strangers. This is out of the Dallas News. It was my first wedding reception where there was where sawdust purposely placed on the dance floor. Apparently the grist makes it easier for guests to glide a jaunty Texas two-step. There I was in the stifling May heat of Midland, a fish-out-of-water Hispanic law student, wearing an ill-fitting sport coat and oversized glasses. I was the only brown-skinned person in the room other than the waitstaff. Oh my gosh. I stood near the wall of that dance hall, half hiding behind an oak support beam, hoping to cast a small enough figure that no one would notice that I probably didn't belong. I had been invited to attend the wedding by a close friend, and I had been looking forward to the grand affair for weeks, primarily because I had heard through the grapevine that the newly elected governor, George W. Bush, would attend. I had always been interested in Texas politics, and of course I jumped at a chance to meet the governor. Now that that moment had arrived, I just wanted to go home, or at least go unnoticed. As cocky as I was at 24 years old, in that moment I felt conspicuously out of place and was scouting for the nearest exit. Then something extraordinary happened. One unexpected person noticed me, a Latino student standing against a wall in a room full of wealthy ranchers and oilmen, and made his way over. First of all, if someone is in a room of wealthy ranchers and oilmen, do you think they're going to be unkind if they're the governor of Texas? You think they're gonna roll in there and just be a total asshole? No. George W. Bush, the governor of Texas, had spotted me and somehow innately understood my discomfort in that moment. Across that dusty dance floor, through throngs of people exponentially more important than me, Governor Bush came right up to me, looked me square in the eye, extended his hand for a shake, and said, "Hello, young man. How are you this evening?" He seemed to understand my trepidation that day, and he single-handedly set out to assuage my discomfort. For nearly half an hour, we spoke of Texas Rangers baseball, the happenings of the Texas legislature that session, and how his father was doing in retirement. Did you talk about his father's role in JFK? Did you talk about his grandfather's role in the Nazis? Of all the people in that room he could have spoken to that evening, the out-of-place stranger was the one George W. Bush welcomed first. I have never forgotten the kindness and sincerity Governor Bush, now former President Bush, showed to me that evening and has shown to so many other strangers during his public service. Yeah, it was really kind how he lied about weapons of mass destruction and got us into a war all these decades and bombed so many people, so many brown people. Really nice. It comes as no surprise to me that during and after his presidency, he has championed reasonable yet compassionate immigration reform. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of good old W. The former president's new book, Out of Many, One, Portraits of America's Immigrants, is an eloquent paean to the millions of Americans who have struggled and persevered to become citizens of this great country. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Unfortunately, many of today's political leaders are more interested in demonizing immigration for political gain rather than praising its virtue. His paintings strengthen our resolve to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, as Christ taught us. No, he's comparing George Bush to Christ. I don't expect the nation's politics to magically return to that of the Bush administration. What? Ugh. Nor do I hear the former president advocating for open borders, amnesty, or anything radical. I am simply hopeful that my fellow Americans will follow the former president's example and see the beauty and strength in their immigrant neighbors. As the good book says, and as Governor Bush exemplified personally to me so long ago, let us welcome the strangers. By Jason Villalba. Jason Villalba. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What? That's all I can say. What do you say to that? Like, I have so many psychological, like, yeah, I want to know this. I have so many questions. What is that guy thinking? Like, first of all, does he believe those things? Or is he like pushing an agenda? Or is it like, was he doing a favor for someone? If he does believe those things, how brainwashed is he? How out of touch of reality is he? If he does not believe those things, I would like to know how much it took to buy him, to buy his, like, to buy his loyalty, I guess. So many questions, just so many. Just yikes. Major yikes.